So one of the best ways to work with your chakras in a day-to-day kind of life experience is to call your inner wise person to the forefront. The inner grandmother or grandfather or elder that is patient and kind and really wants the best for you, that is able to give you good counsel. And finding the part of yourself that can give you good counsel is a wonderful thing. And then giving this part the assignment of being a benevolent committee chair or the CEO of a complicated company that's going to sit down with each of the chakras, understand their needs, and chart a course that balances those needs. If you've geeked out at all on things like compassionate communication or success in relationship models, a lot of it is about balancing the needs. So things go wonky in relationships where one person is just, I want what I want, and I'm so dug in that I'm so caught up in trying to make you understand what I want that I'm not available to hear what you want. Or if someone's so caught up in pleasing the other person and understanding their needs that they're not in touch with their own, of what would work for them. And similarly with our chakras, they all work with really critical parts of our lives. There's no chakra that could go away. Now, granted, some people have healthier chakras and less healthy chakras, which is what my program is attempting to address. So you can have chakras compensating for other chakras, but getting each of them really doing their job is going to create a lot of ease and sustainability and not having to work overly hard for results in your life. There's a lot of collaboration with the universe that becomes available when all the chakras are vibrant and healthy and functioning properly, which I think is super cool. And so back to that benevolent committee chair, you can't sustainably pursue soul purpose if you ignore safety. Some people can and do, but for most of us, we want to feel safe and we want to be heart connected. In fact, I think there are souls for whom the whole point of incarnation was getting the intimacy of being anchored in space and time with a loved one, a partner, a child, an animal. The intimacy of that heart-to-heart connection was what was really amazing. And so getting all of your chakras healthy and balanced, and then learning to listen to them, learning to have a conversation. So I come from an engineering background, so we had meetings where we got together and talked about different things, and I was the mechanical engineer, and I was working with electrical engineers, and I was doing fixed wireless, so I was working with RF engineers, and I was working with people who were going to build the thing that we designed. And all of those parts had to be considered and balanced. So if I designed something, one of my embarrassing memories that I totally own as an engineer is having the manufacturing team leader come and like take me by the ear down to say, here's this thing you designed. We would like to watch you put it together. And that did not go well. He had a legitimate point, so I sheepishly agreed to return to the drawing board because I had done something that would, enclose the product and diffuse the heat and keep the water out, but I designed it in a 3D modeling system, so how do you get a screwdriver in there to secure the circuit board was not a question I had adequately addressed. So in working with this, learning to hear your chakras, because a lot of times we end up with power struggles, and there's a feeling like, kids in a family who, aren't having needs met can have a lot of power struggles where, they get really dug in about getting their way about things. And to some extent, our chakras can often end up functioning with that model where they're yelling the loudest. And one of the things that's created when we don't listen to all of our chakras is pendulum swings. So an example of this is if you're working a job that you absolutely can't stand because it's very good for your financial security, you might force yourself, and then the parts of you that are like, hey, I'm not being treated with respect, this doesn't work for me, this doesn't relate to my soul purpose, and it exhausts me too much to seek soul purpose, I'm too tired at the end of the day. There's this struggle, and then there's this pendulum swing where you end up engaging in what people call self-sabotaging behaviors, but I think of those more as just a part of you that wasn't heard, that's coming to you and saying, hey, I have some information. You're not listening, you're not listening. So when it gets to the yelling point, that's when you get these really dramatic changes. And likewise, the person who ended up sabotaging a job by just showing up late over and over again, or even storming out because they just had enough, they were so over it, often then can't get off the couch to get a new job, because there's like this part of you that didn't want to do the thing that's like, if I let you do the thing again, you're going to make me do too much. I struggle sometimes with that transition between doing and being, and when they're out of sync, I don't particularly want to transition from one to the other. So there are these balances, and having healthy, vibrant chakras and understanding what they want and need is an incredibly powerful first step to being able to broker peace inside yourself and have all of the aspects of you playing for the same team. So your root chakra is on board with your connection needs being met, because it knows you're going to move in a way that doesn't sabotage its needs. You're not going to like love a friend and give them money that you needed to pay rent, for example. That would be like the heart chakra is like, no, I have to help this person, I love them so much. And the root chakra is like, yeah, but I really want to not have this hurt my security. And I know that's kind of an extreme example, but oftentimes we're not moving elegantly in our lives. And a lot of what I think is offered as you start to build intimacy with the chakras and health with the chakras is this really important thing. And part of the health with the chakras is getting them so they're not bottomless pits of need, so that your root chakra can go, yep, that's enough safety, I'm cool with that. That's enough money, I'm cool with that. That's enough freedom, I'm cool with that. That's enough expression of soul purpose, I'm cool with doing the dishes now. You know, this enoughness, because if you didn't have enough safety, or you didn't have enough connection, or you weren't seen or heard or known growing up, if there were some really crucial needs that weren't met, that chakra can just be hungry all the time. And no matter how much it gets, no matter how much experience, it's never really filled up. And that's a really difficult place to be. And so first and foremost, this program is about nurturing the chakras and filling them up so they're not these bottomless pits of need, and then allowing them to come into their sophistication. There are studies that talk about how little humans use of their brain, and I don't know if that's entirely true, because I use my brain in some really like non-stream of consciousness kind of ways. But I think with the chakras, we leave a lot of their potential and magic on the table, and this program will absolutely step up the magic and functioning of every single one of your chakras in the course of the 8 months. And as I've shared before, super cool thing, you don't have to do homework. You don't have to even listen to the recordings. I'd encourage you to do so. I think they're super cool. I love what the guides have to share. But you can just receive this in the background and trust the team of guides and the choice that you've made, and let it work on your behalf so that you are getting healthier. Because, you know, there's so much content and things competing for our time and attention and energy. And I love teaching, and I love engaging your conscious mind and sharing cool things. I think it's a marvelous thing to get to do. And I also know that it can be hard. There's just so much out there. So I designed this program kind of around what I wish I could have for exercise, that someone would just go take care of that for me and make my body really healthy, which is not available. But for the chakras, I can work on your behalf in these really deep ways in the background. So thank you so much for listening. Obviously, I'm really excited about this program. It kicks off March 1st, so now is the time if you would like to join me. And thank you so much for listening. As you probably know, this is Katie Weatherup, and you can learn more about me and my work at my website, which is handsoverheart.com.